kidding me?
You've got to throw some cold water on the situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
Sorry, I just gotta point out, like, that whole opening has been recut because somebody's like, can you trim it down? One person says this, and I'm like, oh, I gotta trim the font. And then usually when we're doing this, that whole afterwards, after he says now Will and Trent, usually that plays out. I think that's like a good 40 seconds or something.
Yeah.
So silly.
We've trimmed nothing.
Nothing at all. Welcome to another edition of NetHeads, everybody. My name is Will.
And I'm Trent.
You want to take part in the program, you can one of many ways. One of them is a little thing called Twitter. Trent, why don't you tell them how they could do that?
Yeah, be like our good friend at Carval, Ryan Connolly. Use the hashtag NetHeads. Join in if you're listening to now, sometime in the future, or even in the past. It might reach us.
It might. Maybe, well, actually, Trent, in that case, I guess the real thing is it already did. So.
Yeah. Right you are, Will.
There we go. Anyway, Trent, since we are a tech podcast, I guess we can talk about this, and it can't become a podcast trope, but interestingly enough...
the trope being that we talk about tech stuff.
No. The podcasting trope, wherein the podcast starts and
like,
they spend.
Oh gosh, we're real sorry about not podcasting for so long, and we promise the quality's going to get better on the audio. We've just had so many bugs to work out.
Yeah, exactly. You see, I knew you were with me, but no, that's not it. What I'm specifically talking about here, by the way, that was me laughing, not wheezing uncontrollably. You actually had some adversity getting things kicked off, and it turns out, though, it isn't just you, it's a bug, so why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, there is, with the last update that came out, there's a bug where Skype, you just have to uninstall it and reinstall it, which is such a pain in the butt because there are 3 different types of Skype. There is the Skype app, there is Skype for desktop, which is different than the Skype app, and there is Skype for business, depending on the OS that you have installed on your computer. It's always going to try and do. So I recommend, if you can find it, it takes damn near a Old Testament Urim and Thummim to find it, but you can download the desktop version. It seems to crash the least amount, except in this case where it won't even open.
Yeah, and to help compensate, hopefully everything sounds and is going out all right. If not, we're shooting a bunch of video that nobody gives 2 squats about, because it's got things omitted. But when doesn't it at this point?
Yes.
By the way, I don't know what I have in that this oil diffuser thing behind me, but it smells like ass. Anyway, well,
sure,
no,
blame it on the Sensi. Sure,
no, it's not a Sensi. It's an oil diffuser trend.
And it's like Harry Potter. Everything beans.
No, Birdie Bot. No, sorry, we've gone completely off the charts here. No, typically what we were using was the desktop app for Skype because I don't know, it's just the least problematic and. But then we had to go over, when we were doing the video, we're having to overcome certain things. Like you couldn't do a video capture anymore on it. You had to run NDI, which is network something or other, data interface or something. I don't know. Network digital interloping. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to look it up either. I don't care. But now what we did is just a quick workaround. Yeah. We went with the good old Google video call, and I'm just capturing the video on the second monitor, which is what I've always got you on the second monitor anyway, Trent. So
yes, yeah, and it's weird because I don't know whether there's any validity in this or not. I've been told in the past that Google Video, whether it be Google Hangouts or however you're doing it, will sacrifice video quality before audio quality. But that being said, the way I'm seeing you, it's a way better picture than I've seen in Skype for a long time.
Oh, wow. Well, that's, I'm not surprised because one is a Google product. The other is now a Microsoft product.
Yeah, and if it being a Google product, Lord knows it'll probably be canceled in about 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Even though
it's highly functional and used by millions of people.
Yeah.
We're just not going to support this anymore.
Well, they did that. That was like the Hangouts, but then they went a different direction, and now there's different named apps that do the exact same crap. But for some reason, they needed to rebrand it because just too many people were familiar with Hangouts. So why go that route, right?
Because that Hangouts was the big tie-in to Google Plus, right? When they made that big launch, that's when Hangouts, they branded Hangouts, because before that it was just Google Chat, right? Gchat.
Was it just Gchat? Direction?
Yeah, it was just Gchat. And now
that's like old school. Again, was that Big G or Little G Chat though?
Little G. It was Little G back then. But now if you go into like your Google Suite, so if you like open up your Gmail, it's called, what is it called now?
I just went into the chat and did a video call.
It's just called Chat now.
It's just Chat now, Trent.
Yeah.
Sorry, now I'm just parroting.
Is it Chat?
I don't know.
Hangouts Conversations.
Oh, okay. I'm convinced half the time they're just making stuff up.
Hey, Google, you need to get your shit and get it all together and put it in your bag. Just put it in your backpack, okay?
And get it together. You just got to get it together. Now you're talking. By the way, Trent, I don't know if you know this, even though this is not tech oriented, but there was an announcement over the last few weeks that in November of this year, new season of Rick and Morty.
Which is funny because over the weekend, I was at a film festival, and the best thing about, I thought, it's fucking horrible, it's just bad. But the worst part about, I thought the best part about staying at a hotel was the random TV watching. But man, the channels are so limited now in motels. There's nothing. Anyway, hotels. But it was the last episode of the last season, and it reminded me where Mr. Poopy Butthole says, "Yeah, what'd you guys think? Was it pretty good? Yeah, well, okay, maybe we'll see you next year, or maybe a year and a half, or we don't really know when we'll be back."
And sure enough, once again, he is predicting the future, and about a year and a half in, because was it 2018? Yeah, this is 2019, right? So, but 2018 April Fool's Day was the day that we got the first episode, and then I think it was like in October or November that it came out.
No,
so
2017.
Oh, see how it
was
all just
2017. Yeah, we didn't get one in 2018.
Trent, time just gets away from me.
Yeah,
time is the fire in which we burn, my friend. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to bring that up. But we're not here to talk about TV. We always got to start off talking tech. And actually, yesterday there was a gigantic bit of tech news that happened, because it was the big Apple Worldwide Developer Conference 2019, where they talk this much about development and they talk this much about products.
About product, yeah. It's almost like that's their revenue source.
Well, okay, I shouldn't say product. It was about operating system updates. So they talked about iPhone, iOS updates. They're now, instead of iPad running iOS, it's going to run iPad OS, or iPadOS is what I'm calling it now. It's iPadOS. Can you hang with that? iPadOS? I like it.
Yeah. Sure.
And then there's going to be a new update for Watch, blah, blah, blah. But they did get into hardware. They finally announced that there's a new Mac Pro. And to go with it, they had to talk about their 6K new Retina display, 32-inch. They even have a nano version, something or other.
32-inch MacBook Pro?
No, 32-inch screen to go with it.
Oh, okay. I was like, good Lord, man.
Yeah, Can
you imagine the suitcase you've got to take everywhere?
Right.
Oh, people in meetings would hate you.
No, not a MacBook Pro, a Mac Pro. So this is an actual Mac.
Yeah.
And actually, they did go with a really interesting and cool design. They started with a stainless steel bar frame, so it's like it's got its own roll cage that also is the handles, and then all the crap goes inside. That's not the important part. The important part is they come out with this great new monitor to balance heat. They've got venting built into it, and the whole back of it is a heat sink, which sounds like a nightmare. But none of that is the part I wanted to talk about. The part that I wanted to talk about was the part that absolutely floored me. Because, look, they tried to run a comparison. The high-end broadcast reference monitors are like $50,000 that this would compare to. But it starts at $4,999. The Nano series is $5,999. Okay, fine. Maybe your video editor, your mid-range graphic producer...
Yeah,
your music producer might want this level of detail.
Yeah, you're a high-end color correction editor in the film industry.
When you're seeing details my 48-year-old eyes will never make out.
Yeah.
But here's the best part. So mind you, monitor, right? Now, when you talk about monitor, you go and buy your typical monitor, your typical consumer monitor. You got a monitor, a stand, power cord, useless VGA cable that almost nobody's going to use.
No.
Right?
No.
Never include an HDMI. Why would they do that?
Drives me up a wall.
Right? But not when it comes to Mac. Not when it comes to Apple.
Just one hole for which you can buy 12 dongles.
No, it's not that bad. Similar, although I will say, by the way, they made a big announcement with the hold on, let me not go off on one tangent before another, but just remind me to come back to the phone and the iPad.
I will.
But no, it was this part of the announcement. So they just announced the price, of the of the monitor.
Of the monitor itself, right?
And then this part kicks in. But now listen carefully after he makes the announcement on the price of, and I kid you not, the stand. Okay? I'm gonna watch your face while you hear this.
The VESA mount adapter will be $199 and the Pro stand $999. And like the Mac Pro, they'll all be available in the fall. So that is the new Mac Pro and Pro Display XDR. Now back to Tim.
Now, did you hear the momentary stammer?
What?
Notice now.
We're just laughing like.
No, it's not even laughing. That is a murmur. That is the first time during that whole thing, people and Apple fights and Apple. I don't know what the Apple heads. What do you call the diehard Mac dedicated? What do you call them?
Newtons.
Suckers. We call them suckers. Will. No. Like, listen again. It's a murmur. Okay.
No. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Not in a good way either. This was, like every other announcement. They talked about whether it was faster ways to develop code.
Yeah.
Whether it was the announcement that now you can swipe to type text. Oh my gosh! Can you imagine such an innovation, Trent?
It's never been done. It's never been done before.
I no longer need a special app in order to swipe on an iPhone, Trent.
Wait, like an app called Swipe?
No, actually, they pulled Swipe. I use SwiftKey.
Did they?
Yeah.
That came default on my Sony.
There you go. See, SwiftKey. Yeah, exactly. The world of Android has had swiping for however long. But even that got applause. But this,
the VESA mount adapter will be $199 and the Pro stand $999. And like the Mac Pro, they'll all be available.
I don't blame them.
In the fall.
1,000.
So that is the new Mac Pro and Pro Display XDR.
Shut up. Go away.
Back to Tim.
Now back to Tim.
This is like in the Passion, right? When Christ tells the heretics that he is the Son of God.
Yeah, no, that was the first time you didn't hear applause, and you could tell he stammered because
and back to you, Tim.
Yeah, we don't have the crowd on this one, and I don't blame them because I even tweeted about this, Trent. You go on Amazon. Now, it won't be aluminum, it won't be slim, it won't be as adjustable for the tilt, but you can still swivel into the non-landscape, whatever the other one is, portrait mode for graphic design. $29.99. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, guys, if you buy one, if you cover the cost of shipping, I'll spray paint it aluminum colored for you so it'll match. Okay?
Well, it's interesting that you say this because just last night, I have a fairly big fireplace mantle, and I've been thinking about moving my TV up there, right? But I don't want to mount it into the wall. I just want to stand on the mantle, but the stand that it's currently got is the base is too wide. So I've actually been looking for large monitor freestands, like freestanding stands. Boy, I haven't found one over $50 yet.
Right? I mean, it's just I couldn't believe this. I'm like, are you kidding
me? And those
me?
will hold 110 pounds.
Right? Honestly speaking, Trent, this is just the thing where they're like, well, if they'll spend $5,000 or $6,000 on a monitor, the other thing that killed me is $199 for the Visa mount attachment, which is just the 4-prong attachment that every basic monitor mount uses.
Yeah. That you can then the backside will have like 45 different things you can position it at.
Yeah, which by the way comes with the $29.99 stand.
Right, yeah, the base is free. Yeah, it just comes with it. Guess what else comes with it, Will? Bolts and washers.
It's craziness, Trent. It's madness. I can't believe. How are they making money when they could be charging $1,198 before tax?
Can you imagine now? I mean, I say this as hyperbole, but it's not that far off in that, Apple's not that far off from making their own measurement system that's not imperial, that's not metric, that's proprietary to them, so that their bolts and nuts can be Apple only products.
Yeah. Now, is that standard? Is that metric, or is that newtons?
Is that newtons? Yes, exactly.
It's just, look, we've always talked about this, and it to some degree, it's okay what you overspend on a Mac product, because really you get some decent longevity out of them. I mean, the audio for this show is on a rebuilt old ass 13-inch MacBook Pro. The computer that I normally use for audio editing, well, that's a PC, but the one that I used to use is a MacBook Pro, and it's not going to get outdated, and it's still a great portable machine to get anything I want done. Granted, it can't render as fast as the PC that I use, either in audio cleaning or video rendering, but it can still get the job done.
Well, and I'm a firm believer in, price and value is personal, right? So. And I always say, like, the example always being I use with motorcycles, right? If the only helmet that you will wear costs $3,000, then that helmet is worth $3,000 because it's the only one you'll wear, and it's going to save your life, right?
Right.
So like, if the only computer you want is the new iMac, then it's worth it. Not for me.
No, not even when it's somebody else's money on the line anymore. I mean,
you just feel so damn guilty about it.
Well, because it is kind of absurd. Now, mind you, you're not going to get as portable of a PC-based laptop for the money that you're going to spend on a MacBook. There's few and far between that really do have the compact design down. Right. So I get it there too.
Especially when it does come to the monitor. Right. I would way rather do like graphic design on a MacBook Pro than I would on my MCI. I would way rather game on my MCI though, not because of the monitor quality, but just it would run the games better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. I mean,
so.
Not and don't get me wrong, I'm not meaning to bash Mac, even though Apple, like I said, they finally, I'm sorry, they came up with the innovation of swiping for text on the keyboard. That's just amazing.
But Will, they know when it's time to finally stop dragging a dead horse, apparently.
Why is that, Trent?
With the announcement that you sent me yesterday of iTunes.
Oh, God, yes.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, your computers will be able to run a lot better from now on.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because now I'm wondering what's going to happen because I didn't listen to the full announcement on that part. But, the only saving grace of iTunes is that if you wanted something to manage your iDevice, your iPhone or what have you, your iPad, and you wanted to sync content to it without going out of a third-party app when you're using a PC, which, you know, I don't know why you've got an iPhone and, well, beside PC, run better.
Right.
I get where iTunes on the PC side came in handy, but now are we slipping into proprietary because we're just talking about different apps that will run only on Mac? I don't know.
Yep.
That part I didn't look into, and if you want to share with us, I mean, share with him. I'm not looking at anything right now except the video stream, so sorry. Anyway, I personally am glad, though, because iTunes itself has been, for the longest time, an over-bloated piece of well, no, not even piece, it's just bloatware is what it is.
It is the worst,
and
man.
half the time when you were trying to sync your device, it wouldn't work, or you would have to unplug, replug, or restart, or like on the PC side, go into the services, end the service, then plug your device in, let everything start up. Then it's been a mess for a while, and
it has like a hidden program called Bonjour, which freaking slows your whole computer down to almost like, it just, if you look at like your processing speed, it's always running, like it's always there, and it's always just draining everything. Like, it got to the point where I would always install it if I like was starting a new podcast. I would install iTunes just to upload, because that was the only way you could upload a podcast for their review, was through iTunes. You couldn't do it through a web browser.
It still is, by the way. If you want to submit a podcast to well, you don't have to use iTunes now, but you are going to need an
Apple account.
Yeah, an Apple ID. Apple ID is what they call it. That's it, Apple ID.
Yeah.
You still need to have one of those in order to submit, but now you can use a web interface, which is much better, I feel, because, it's not a jerk move, Trent. That's the whole point. So
anyway, so all your music that you've purchased, it will just be part of Apple Music and Apple TV. It'll still be there. It's not going anywhere.
And that kind of makes sense then why they ended up going to a whatchamacallit.
But just a
that's why a while ago they switched the iTunes icon to just a music note, because they knew what was coming, right?
Exactly. Yep, exactly. And I mean, it makes sense, right? Like that's like iTunes has always been able to read your home library, whether you bought it from the Apple Store or not, right? As a music player, Spotify as a streaming player will read your home library just as a regular music player. And so it just makes sense that they would combine the, just get rid of one, as it's outdated. It's just an outdated model.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. It's a piece of crap. It needs to go. This is going to sound weird. I need to call you right back. It's nothing but a G thing. No, I still don't know what that means. Here we go. Let's see if we can get him back. That's fun. There we go. Let's see if that worked. Nope, you're still blank. Okay, well, nobody gets to see you anymore, Trent. Sorry.
That's okay.
I accidentally
Worse things have happened to better people, I'm sure.
I accidentally activated. Yeah, but I don't want to be on camera the whole time. You know what I mean?
I do.
That ain't cool, man. That ain't cool at all.
Yeah, this is where you just need like the piece of white paper that you hold up that says, please stand by, or technical difficulties.
It would be nice. Well, yeah, just drop the icon in and it's all like
yep. Play some nice bossa nova going, yeah. Oh, dude. Speaking.
Sorry, it's nothing but a black screen now.
Olha que coisa mais linda, que cheia de graça, e quando que passa.
I don't know what's happening, but good for you, my friend. Good for you.
Speaking of audio and computers, I have got my USB audio interface is a Tascam 4-bus MIDI USB box. It's freaking great. I love it. I've noticed though that sometimes I would in my headphones I would get like this crackling, right? And I never really noticed it with music, but I noticed it when I was doing like video editing, and it was just really weird. And I changed headphones, I changed jacks, like I didn't know what was going on. You go to the old Google, and apparently a lot of these USB audio devices don't really work well with USB 3 cards.
Oh.
to the point where I had to. Luckily, I have a few different port cards on my tower. I moved it to the side that has no USB 3, so I even unplugged it from the USB 3, plugged into a USB 2. But since they're on the same card, it was still getting that weird crackling sound. Plugged it into a completely separate card, no problem at all.
Oh.
Card that doesn't have any USB 3 on it.
Oh, very good.
So if you've only got like a USB 3 port and you're trying to run, whether it's the Focusrite or a Tascam or whatever it might be, because I saw people have the problem with the Focusrites too. I'm sorry. But yeah, it was something that I just, it's so weird though, right? Like that wouldn't have been like a design thing from the beginning. Like we're moving to USB 3. Why wouldn't we make sure that, I don't know. And I don't know if it's a power thing, because they've all got external power sources. So I have no idea if you were running like a charged USB 3 line, like you would for like a phone or something, if that might help. I have no idea. Anyway.
Yeah, personally, I think that, that was one of the things that was you talked about the iPad.
That's right. Yeah.
That they have finally adopted as well. The ability to actually plug in through that lightning port, like a USB external storage. So now you can actually expand your storage and you can import your file. I know, crazy, right? It's
weird.
It's absolutely nuts, Trent. It's anarchy. But yeah, it's amazing the way you can you hit certain walls. Like there's an amazing device. I can't find mine right now, but it's made by Blackmagic, and it uses the Thunderbolt port, I think is what it's called.
Yep.
And it allows you to either capture both audio and also video either from an HDMI or an SDI source.
Yeah.
Which is fabulous.
So awesome.
Except
if you don't have a Thunderbolt port.
Right. And so literally I've got just an old keyboard or an old MacBook that I can use, the same one that I talked about to play back the audio.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
That one I can use and it works just fine, but it's like where else? I mean, I would love to be able to use it in the PC, but then I got to look at like $150 or a $200 card,
right?
In order to do that.
It's interesting because my my MSI laptop has a Thunderbolt port. I have never used it ever, and I was kind of shocked that it came with one standard. Like I would rather an extra USB option instead of a Thunderbolt port.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, I just wish they would give us more options and a better ability to control our systems, and it not be so damn. And it seems like every time something becomes antiquated, it becomes more expensive. Where you expect it to go down because now you want to add a Thunderbolt card. Like I said, it's cost prohibitive.
Yep.
Why would I do it when I've got the other computer? Although. And just strictly speaking, for this nonsense we're doing here, it would allow me to use a regular camcorder instead of a webcam, right?
Yeah, I used a Blackmagic box at work for live streaming stuff. It's seriously awesome because it just works as a capture card and as an input into your computer. So anything that has an HDMI out, it reads as it tells your computer is a video source. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's personally, I think it the Blackmagic line of products really do give people the ability to put slightly more advanced video functionality into the regular consumer's hands, which is the type of stuff I think that's really cool. That's even though it's not necessarily a great example because they went defunct, but Play Incorporated, the gigantic Trinity box that for some reason I still can't let go of.
Hey, it means something to you. It means something to you, okay?
Well, no, I could do Letterbox, but it just doesn't make any sense to use it because, not to get into video settings, but too late, I would have to take all of the video and downgrade it to 480p in order to use that box. And the only thing I would get out of it would be like really cool looking graphics. Like I could map us onto a spinning 3D cube.
And it would be all switchable, right? So you program the keys for whatever, and it would do it.
Yeah. But then again, the Stream Deck here by, I don't remember who makes it, but I'm able to use that as a switcher for OBS. So once again, the thing is, as technology has improved, software is able to do almost everything that hardware could do in the past, and that's why Blackmagic is able to make their products that are cool and nifty, because they've just got to worry about the driver side of things, and they get the power from the machine, and their dongles aren't big. Genetics.
Story of my life,
right, brother? I feel you.
But the thing is, though, it's live streaming is still it's still a thing that you can. It is very easy to tell, right? You're professional from your amateur, and I think a huge part of that is the price points in between those things, right? Because the Blackmagic stuff is not cheap. The Roland ones are not cheap.
No.
Not cheap at all. They're awesome though, and that's kind of like you get one of those, and you are running something not unlike what could be the daily news, right?
Yeah, I could do that here. I could totally, literally I can make a media, like, let's say I actually put some prep work into this very easily with OBS, which is Open Broadcast Software. I think that's the name of it. I think that's what the acronym stands for. If I just put a little bit of effort into it, I could create a new scene, or I could create sources within a scene that I could just turn on and off when I need to have over-the-shoulder graphics. If I wanted to play a media clip, either full screen or over my shoulder, I could do that too. Like almost everything, let's put it this way. Everything you see like on Comedy Central's Daily Show, you really could almost do from anywhere.
Absolutely.
You really could. And it just takes a computer that's strong enough to run it, and a little applied knowledge with the software. Streaming nowadays too, I often ask myself the question. It's like, well, if we're a podcast, why are we worrying about streaming video? But it's because you're not any one thing now. What you are is your content. That's what you are.
Yep. It's the same thing, right? Like all the time we're like, well, should we post it on Medium, or should we post it on our own blog, or should this be a Facebook post? And the answer is
yes.
Like, yes. All of it.
And honestly speaking, the business of the future that is going to make the most money in this world is the one that allows you to interconnect all of your accounts for statistical aggregation.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, once that those walls of your Facebook analytics and your Google analytics and your MailChimp analytics, when everything is all aggregated into one place. Oh.
Yeah, well, it's like,
well, it's Skynet, Will. That's what will happen.
A little bit, just a little bit. By the way, they dropped a trailer for a teaser trailer for the new Terminator movie.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah. All I know is we do see Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, so that he's the one constant, pretty much. I think.
Sure. And digitally now, I mean, he doesn't really need to show up.
Well, the
last time he was in, it was like young Arnold.
Yeah, he was. I think it was. I didn't even watch that movie. Okay. But you're talking about the one where basically it's like John Connor or somebody is talking to the T-800 that's just kind of like hanging on a meat hook there.
Yeah, I think Term 3 was the last one he was in, because he wasn't in.
Well, his image was in that one, in the one I'm talking about.
What was it? Resurrection or Termination, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, does it really matter? Because basically James Cameron is producing the new one, and it is basically said, all that other stuff after T2 is that's an alternate reality, or I don't know what it is.
Non-canonical.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the expanded universe, actually. So if you go into Wikipedia, you'll find that it's no longer canon, according to his
Trent, I'm going to stop you right there.
George
I'm going to stop you right there, because you've just gone way too pedantic now. What were we talking about? What were we talking about before I, for some reason, brought up T2 or the new Terminator trailer? I don't even know why I did that.
I don't know. Oh, Skynet, just the future, right? The big thing will be when all of this information is in one place for the content provider.
And it sure would be easier because, like, let's take some applied knowledge here. If we talked about something like Kevin Smith's Fat Man Beyond, okay?
Yes.
Once again, it's not a podcast, it's content. So it's content that plays through the YouTube channel. So you've got analytics that are there. You've got the podcast side of things. You've got analytics there. So how do you determine what the reach is? Not to mention that everything is posted to Twitter. It's posted to Facebook to at least link back to another medium. And you know, what happens if then you're going to go beyond? Like tonight, I, for whatever reason, decided to resurface the old Twitch account, and it's up and running, and allegedly we're streaming to it. But why wouldn't you? Because you want as much exposure as possible. The only thing I think that when it comes to something like that is if you're getting into things like any type of advertising deal, then the one thing you need is you either need structured advertising models for either each one of the independent channels, or you've got to come up with one homogenous method of advertising. It's like, okay, we're going to do a live ad read in this, or we're, you know, it's just going to be included after the fact or what have you. But, and also, you know, I don't know why we insist on going live other than I like the live element. But there is certain advantages to it as well, because like I might have mentioned it once. I'll mention it again. I am shocked at the level of exposure the Facebook videos get compared to other things. The YouTube videos don't get as much attention as the Facebook ones. And it's because Facebook is, to use a term I just did, it's so widely accepted now. I decided to abandon the term. It's just so widely accepted that it puts things in people's faces very easily. Whereas, and that kind of shocks me though, because if you think about it, for your gamers or your advanced tech people or your Fire Stick or your Amazon Fire TV users, every one of those, you can watch YouTube on your TV. So how is it that the Facebook is more popular? I don't get it, but it's not mine to question. It's just mine to talk.
I honestly, I think a big part of it is anytime something you're following on Facebook goes live, you get a push notification. You have to go into it. You can't do it. You can't turn off those notifications from a mobile device. You have to go into the web browser settings for your account to turn those things off. Otherwise, and I think so, you know, is it invasive and kind of a pain in the ass as a consumer? Yeah. Is it great for a content provider? Absolutely. Especially if you're like not competing with a bunch of other people in their, you know, stream.
Well, on the Facebook stream itself, actually, I think Carson Eversole says it's so much easier to tune in. So I'm assuming he means via Facebook. And I completely agree. And as long as we don't screw it up, you know, it's something that with the way we do this, I don't have to do anything else with. Like the only thing I have to do is, I think right now, because I haven't said it yet, I should just make a special looped graphic that is 20 seconds and then goes to black, because I have to think about the YouTube, and if we want to do the end title cards that links to a subscribe button and like 2 different videos that give people an option or one of them, I need at least 20 seconds for that to overlay on. And you know, often, like the one thing I think the challenge we've had is to try and tighten up the start time to where the video's rolling, but, you know, it's like 10 minutes later, we haven't started yet, which, you know, Facebook doesn't give you the ability to edit your video or trim it down, but YouTube does. So it's interesting, the different platforms and the things that they do.
Well, and you know, I don't want to be the doomsdayist and the conspiracist here. The Facebook app allows you to watch live streams. Yeah, I mean, one of the heaviest things that a web browser can do, right? And the Facebook app is able to do that for you. Pretty incredible. But they make you download a separate app for just text conversations.
Oh, the Messenger. I know what you're talking about.
Dude, they are mining everything you freaking type in there. It is insane. And that's why, is so that they've got it all on separate servers, and that's how you're getting your all of your ads and everything is from what you're talking about in your conversations on Facebook and Facebook Messenger.
And that's the
I
part.
refuse to use it.
and I think that's the part that people are missing, because I know there will be people who will say, I was just talking to somebody about this, and now I'm seeing ads for it.
Yep. Yes.
And honestly speaking, I don't really think it's that. You probably did text somebody with it. But, if you're messaging from Google, if you're messaging from Facebook or what have you, that's all data. I kid you not, folks. And we've said fear the algorithm before, but it's true. I'm sure there is enough to where just through the things I have, Google probably has the most thorough let's just say portfolio on me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they have an algorithm that can predict how much longer until I will take certain actions. Or I'm sure they can predict certain patterns in my life I'm not even aware of based on all this stuff. So
do you have one of the robot sweepers?
Oh, a Roomba?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, Trent. Why?
So it learns the space of your house and the dimensions of your house, and then that data can be sold to market for items that would be applicable to your home.
True. Or also okay, well, they always vacuum these areas, so that must be where their carpet is. So
they're high traffic. Yeah.
Now we can, if you're let's say it were owned by Google, or the information was sold to Google, then anytime I were to look up carpet cleaning, they would be able to market my information to people. It's like, hey, would you like to be coming up on the first few ad searches for everybody that's over 800 square feet of carpet?
Taking a step back even further, they can see the robot can see more or less can estimate the square footage of your home, which would then put you into a tax bracket or an income bracket, and so then they know what types of products to market to you, right? People with this size of home generally are making this amount of money for the region that this IP is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know that they like these types of products. They're more Target shoppers than they are Walmart shoppers, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, and we are more Target shoppers than we are Walmart
Everyone
shoppers.
is. Target's the best, man.
Oh, and Walmart is just so... Look.
It's sad.
It's
so sad.
I wish I could argue. But granted, I have gone back to Walmart a few times, but that's my last, if I absolutely positively need to get something and it's the only place I can find it, I'll go there. But part of the reason why I don't go to Walmart is because my local Walmart, the last time I was in there after dark, I literally saw 3 guys jump another guy at the customer service desk. That doesn't happen at Target, man.
You're taking my DVD back, man.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what. No, these were other people. I mean, it was just that was. Look, I'm not going to say. I don't want to say the white flight panic statement that it might have been rival gangs jumping, but
sure.
I'm just saying what it looked like.
Hey,
by the way, Leroy Velasquez on Facebook said, I don't want to sound like a doomsday conspiracist, he said from his underground bunker, and his beard looks exceptionally long tonight.
Yeah, literally. It's funny, though, because last summer, the Walmart here in Logan, Utah, we had ourselves a shooting. A man did go to jail. They were hunting rifles, shot across the parking lots at each other.
Oh, well, that at least sounds a little...
Hey,
a little more sportsmanlike.
Hey,
yeah,
Obama gonna take my guns?
No, he didn't. By the way, Trent, speaking of ads, I just want to give you the opportunity to discuss this wonderful gem that you shared with me right before the show. Apparently, you're saying this was an ad
in the Facebook.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell people what they're looking at right now?
Yeah, so this is an ad that I literally just I fired up the Facebook when we started, and this ad was just sitting right in front of me, and the ad itself I just thought was so stupid. The verbiage they used, the second generation distraction-free writing tool is here.
Okay.
So we had the pencil and paper, right? Like if you're looking to get rid of distractions from your writing process, I don't think it gets any simpler than like notepad and paper. That being said, so this is a product that just takes a step back 35, 40 years into a word processor. But the difference is you can store it in the cloud through Wi-Fi now, but it won't connect to any apps or anything, so that you won't be tempted to, so that you can really get into the zone of writing and looking at what you've written on the 3.5 by 5 inch ink, electric ink screen.
$550 to. By the way, I just want to point out that there was an invention, you could probably still find them for far less. It's called a typewriter. Okay,
right.
That's one. And granted, you would have to do optical character recognition later on the paper and scan it in.
Sure.
That could be a little troublesome. I get that, but I'm relatively certain they also have these wonderful apps that you can get where you can launch it, and then you can write your work in the app, and it won't let you do anything else until you make some type of special concession, right?
If you scroll down on the page, there's icons of YouTube, social media, no games, no browsing. I mean,
Dude, how about have a little thing called discipline? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do I pay me $500 and I'll just like yell at you every time you open a browser? It's like, there was this great SNL sketch way back in the day, and it showed Chris Farley, and it was a new diet plan, and that was the whole thing. I think it was Adam Sandler would come out, and then every time he tried to eat something, he'd just yell at him and say, "Don't put that in your mouth! No, don't do it! Don't eat it!" That's essentially what this is, right? Like I mean, hey, if this is valuable to you, then by all means spend $500 on it plus. But like, man, I just think about, and I understand it's like when I'm writing something for Smodcast, right?
I
very infrequently, right? Like, I couldn't do that without having browsing like capabilities of references and looking stuff up and like, and even being able to go back and reread what I've written. Can you imagine editing on something like that? There's no way.
Our favorite distraction-free writing apps, Trent. I've now solved this. Writer Dana for $7.11. Right, with an exclamation mark for $19.95. Designed to cut out a lot of the distraction that comes with other writing applications, Write uses a tabbed interface to allow users to jump between different documents within the applications. Okay, that one's not so good. But still, I mean, this is just of all the frickin' things, man. It just goes to shit. But they're paying for advertising on Facebook, so clearly they're planning on anyway making money.
Yeah, and they've got a couple of published authors
Trent,
with quotes on there.
Let's not forget second generation.
Yes, right, because who could forget the Newton, Will?
They made enough money to where they're like, you know what, guys? Not only did we do this, we can do it again.
Yes. Yeah. Well, honestly, what I feel like this is someone heard, because it's true. George R.R. Martin writes all of his works on a DOS word processor.
Right, which is essentially kind of this. If you remember these things, which
it's the same thing, man.
Yes, it's a standalone machine. It looks like a typewriter. It's got a little LCD screen,
little teeny. Yep,
and you're right on it.
Black and gray screen. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I see this, and I think someone got like, oh, that's a great idea. We could totally sell that. And and you know what would be awesome? If we got the keyboards from the Apple IIe's, I'm sure we could pick those up really, really cheap, and we can just refurbish those.
I'm sorry, those things look like they're just a step above like the P-Touch label makers.
No, those are
I mean, the typewriter anyway.
As it rolls out.
Yeah.
And then you realize you screwed up. Damn it.
There goes another one. or you know, you get like me and you're like, well, there's a lot of white afterwards, but a little bit of blank space. Let me try and trim this. No, it's off now. Let me try and trim this in.
No.
Yeah, and it just goes to hell.
Now I got to do another one again. Got to space it out again.
Yeah, exactly. Let me add some extra spaces here. Maybe that'll balance it out.
I don't know, man. Like to me, the simple solution is just like self-control. I don't know, like turn off your phone. Don't open a browser. Like don't turn on Steam.
Leroy Velasquez pointing out, I ate a whole pizza by myself yesterday. I have no self-control, Will. Fair enough. I won't fault you for that, though. I had those days myself.
The thing is, like if who's this marketed to, right? Like if you truly want to make it as a writer, and you feel like you could be the next Stephen King, if only social media just didn't keep on bothering you all the time, you're probably not going to be the next Stephen King. Okay?
I wonder how many people see this device and they're like, you know what? That's it, man. I'm suing. I'm suing Facebook. I'm not a success
Totally,
because
man.
I need to know what type of Disney princess I am. Show title.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. It just blew my mind, man, because I saw it and I just thought, holy shit, this is exactly what I used for my high school newspaper for writing stuff for the high school newspaper. We all were issued a word processor, and that's what we wrote everything on. Everything's
old is new again, Trent. And there's a sucker born every minute. So, you know, if there are people that'll spend $999 on a stand, granted, it was an entire room of people that wouldn't, but yeah, I couldn't. That device kind of blows me away. I'm not gonna lie, Trent. That is absurd.
Weird. It is just, yeah. I don't know, man. It's, ugh.
Yeah. So, but and you're just mad because you're like, well, wait, why didn't I think of that? As a matter of fact,
I know exactly.
There's got to be some warehouse that just has some long neglected shipment.
Yes.
Of old word processors.
That are running like Coral 1.
Right. It's like, oh, guys, let's just put some fancy black molding around this thing. We're solid. Put a little brass on it. Give it a steampunk feel. We'll be able to move tons of them.
See, and this is what's so funny, right? So it's talking about how it has cloud backups. Draft on FreeWrite and edit later on your computer. That defeats the whole process, right?
No, that's the editing, Trent. Because remember, the important part is the writing, okay? Heaven forbid
2,000 pages into my fantasy novel right now.
Heaven forbid you just do what we used to do. You sit down, you got the word processor, you put some headphones in, and you tell the world to F off. It's that simple. You know what? Spend $400 with me, and I'll tell you how to do that. I'll teach you, okay?
Yeah, right?
It'll be a few online sessions.
Yes.
But after that, it'll be distraction-free writing.
There might be some time spent in a therapist's office afterwards, discussing your trauma.
Yeah.
But hey, you won't want to get on the Facebook.
No, you won't. You won't. And I love the way you put that, though. You know, you're like, if only it weren't for these distractions, I would be the next Stephen King.
That's the thing that kills me. Like, because that's who the market is for, right? Because novel writing, like fiction writing, is the only type of writing that you're not using references and looking at things, or you know what I mean, like looking stuff up. Like,
Trent, if I've learned anything from social media and following real writers, like the people who I respect, there are 3 key things that are required in order to get the writing done you need to get done. The first is a deadline.
Yeah. Oh,
okay?
Otherwise, yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
The second,
which is why we do this live. It's our deadline.
Yes, exactly. The second is apparently a delivery pizza.
Sure.
And the third, copious amounts of scotch. You get those three things.
Yep.
You'll get your writing assignment done.
Choose your uninhibitor, if you will.
Yes.
Scotch, weed, whatever it might be.
Yeah, and you get those things.
Yeah.
You're golden. You're Jake. Yeah. It's funny you mention that though. You get rid of your inhibitor because that's what it is. It's your limiter is popped off.
In creative writing classes, they always say, write as if your family was dead.
Oh, that's just that. What?
Meaning that like there's no repercussions for anything that you might say.
Okay, fair enough.
You can be fully honest in your prose.
Trent, speaking of writing.
Yes.
1, where's my news stories? 2.
Oh!
Just kidding. Chump don't ask for nothing. Chump don't get nothing. No, speaking of writing, excellent writer, very well known, also provided a voice in Jay and Silent Bob super groovy cartoon movie, Neil Gaiman.
Oh, yeah.
He was a writing partner with, was it Terry Pratchett? Is that the guy's name?
Probably.
I can't remember his name.
Discworld.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He co-wrote a book, a story. It's called Good Omens. You may have heard of it, Trent.
Yes, it's an Amazon television show now.
You've seen where I'm going. It dropped on Friday, and I kid you not, 6 episodes. So it's and really they call it a series, but really what it is, it's like a mini series. I strongly doubt there will be anything more of this again.
Like an American Gods, if you will.
Yeah, but I have to tell you, just brilliantly done. If you have Amazon Prime or you have the ability to get a trial so that way you can mooch some Prime Video for a little while, I would highly recommend taking this in because it has got, first of all, it's a great story, it's brilliant writing, wonderful acting, an excellent adaptation, and best of all, it just has all those right storytelling elements. You can tell it's got influences of Douglas Adams and just great science fiction writing, great fantasy writing. And it tells the wonderful story about the end of the world and the coming of the Antichrist. And it was just brilliant. It is. I'm on my second viewing and it just came out Friday. That's how great it is.
Good. Because dude, this is my fantasy jam right now. Is this using of conventional mythos in storytelling, right? Like. Also from the mind of Neil Gaiman, right? Inspired by at least the Lucifer series. I just love that the whole oh man, I finally caught the last season of Preacher right before it starts up again this summer. Its final season that's coming out. Like that kind of stuff is totally my jam. And this has literally been the top bar every time I open up my Fire Stick every day for like the past 2 weeks. So with your recommendation,
replay.
I'm gonna check it out for sure because that's totally in my wheelhouse right now.
Yeah, I think you would really enjoy it. Well, not to mention you're also right now we're slipping into what I would call Trent's binging season because all the CW shows are filtering
they
down.
Just dropped. Yep.
We're probably only a few weeks away from Legends of Tomorrow finally dropping. But
it just dropped.
Oh, see, I told you.
Yep.
I'm behind
I think
on that
the only one that hasn't updated yet is Arrow.
That's shocking because they were the first one to kind of wrap things up, I think. It was
really?
Arrow, then The Flash, then Supergirl, then Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, the other 3 are, but Arrow's not up yet.
Yeah, and actually Handmaid's Tale has probably in 6 minutes for those of us on the East Coast to be available. That's the Hulu one.
June 4th or 5th. Yeah, you're
Ta-da!
right. Yeah. Dude,
we're coming. We are really into the binge season. Not to mention, if you get the Amazon Prime, you could take in the 2 seasons of The Tick that exist.
Yes.
I don't know. I love TV. I'm not gonna lie. I've always loved TV. It drives my wife nuts the way I talk about it. Like like the stories on there are a real thing.
It's real. It's to quote the wrestling fan.
It's real.
It's real to me.
And the thing that I love about viral video is the fact that I don't have to be a wrestling fan to know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. We've all seen that clip. It's priceless.
Oh. And you've got social media, or not social media, but you've also got Netflix, who we don't know how they make money at all, but I don't think they do. I think they're all like investment money. But they saved Mario Flores pointing out that they saved Lucifer from Fox. It's got a fourth season, and actually a quirky little show that I would say if you get through the first episode, you'll end up watching the whole series. It's Linda, I can't remember her name, and Christina Applegate's Dead to Me. Not only did its first season play well, but
loved it.
Yeah, right. And they've got a second season now. They're getting picked up.
And just like the whole time, like once you like, it's probably and it's kind of a slow burn as to figuring it all out, right?
Yeah.
But by like the third or fourth episode, you're just like, holy shit.
I'm not kidding. The way they closed out the very first episode, that was the exact thing to get me to be on the hook.
Yep. Yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. And it just reminded me of how much I missed the short-lived show that she and Will Arnett and Maya Rudolph had
Up
on
All
NBC.
Night.
Up All Night. That was such a good program, and Christina just didn't want to do it anymore.
Was that what it was? I thought the whole problem was it just like between season 1 and season 2, it just got so reworked. But you never know. It could be the whole network. Look, I don't know, man. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we don't know. But she is fantastic, and she plays off of Linda Cardellini.
That's the name.
My number one all-time celebrity crush of all time ever.
Because of the Velma thing, right?
Oh, no, it's because of Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in the Scooby-Doo movie, she was Velma. So,
was she really?
Yeah, she was.
Well, I'm going to have to revisit the Scooby-Doo movie tonight.
That is the creepiest thing I think I've ever heard you say. Speaking of Scooby-Doo, let's wrap this up. You gotta go, I gotta go. But one of the things we always want to do is kind of bring in the pup dates because, I've rescued 2 dogs. Trent has essentially rescued 2 dogs as well. And our families grew, and now we like to talk about them. With me, it's been an ongoing challenge because my rescue dogs, who by the way are beautiful, they're Samiids. If you don't know them, they're these white,
gorgeous.
Yeah, they're beautiful dogs. I mean, you look at them and you're like, oh, sure, you rescued those dogs. With your little mid-sized boutique animals. But the weird thing is that they're
working dogs though originally,
and you got to keep them busy or they will destroy your stuff.
Yes.
But they grew up in isolation, like with over 150 animals in one space. I mean, it was a bad scene. But the thing that is the challenge is that the only exposure they had was to a little old lady. That's it. So they're untrusting of males. And in this case, you need to kind of break the rules to ingratiate you with them, because I am the walking personification of death as far as they're concerned when I'm in the house.
Yeah.
But now we are at the point where if I'm sitting at the dinner table or I'm snacking on something on the couch, I make sure to get some snacks of theirs ready, their treats, so that way they know to come up to me. So I have value to them now.
Yep.
So it's coming along. I think Rika has been in the house 8 months. Yuki has been with us since February. I have actually been able to pet Yuki on rare occasion. Rika still, as long as I've got food, I have value, but that's it. Other than that, the thing that is the funniest to me is that Emily, my 15-year-old, they absolutely love and adore her. So, actually, everybody in the house, they love and adore except me. So, like, when I'm home alone
it's Jeans.
Yeah. And they're out there, like, I will hear them start barking and howling, and they're talkers, so they go that's a horrible impression of it, but they do that, and
they're singers.
Yeah, and it's so great to hear that and I don't think they're going to do it for me. The funniest thing though is that every time I leave, I guarantee you within moments I'm sent either a video or a photo from my wife of all the fun things that they're now doing. It's because, like, literally, that black cloud has drifted away and it's all sunshine and lollipops.
Finally, we don't have to be on edge anymore.
Exactly. But how is it going with your hound dogs?
Oh, dude.
Or your pooches?
Freaking great. Except, like I said, I was at a film fest this past weekend and my roommate was watching the dogs and Lurch jumped through the screen outside, through a window screen because he saw some people. And he gets really excited when he sees other people. He wants to go and hang out with them. and the window is about 5 feet off the ground.
Oh no.
But he's not a problem, I guess. I don't know. He just kind of pushed the screen out and jumped out. The interesting thing is he had to lift the window up to for it to work. And I'm not gonna lie, these are heavy effing windows, dude.
Right. I'm guessing your old school original windows, wooden frame, rough sliders.
Yeah, like I'm pretty impressed that he managed to do it.
Did he do it as he was going through though, or it was like
I don't know. No one saw it happen. We just saw that it had happened.
Okay.
So now we're keeping an eye on him, but I've had this problem where he just gets so freaking excited. So like we'll go for walks, and he sees people, and he just like he's just so like over stimulated. He doesn't even know what to do. He'll just start like shaking, and just like wants to run up and say hi and stuff. And I recently read this book, which I cannot recommend enough. It's called The Other End of the Leash: Why We Do What We Do Around Dogs. It's by an animal behavioralist. It gave me a ton of really awesome practical tips, and more than anything, it just kind of like looks at the difference between like apes, Homo sapiens, and canids, and how our communication is wholly different. How dogs communicate through body language, and humans just get louder when they want to communicate something. You know what I mean? And so she's, the example.
Clearly, you've spent 5 minutes with me.
The example she gave is like, dogs will bark, and they'll all start barking when they're trying to warn each other of something, right? That's, one of the only few times that they're actually verbal. And so like it could confuse a dog very easily if you kept on yelling at it to stop barking when it thinks that you're just also like you see the danger that's approaching as well. And so everyone's like, yeah, we gotta warn everyone that this thing is here. Yes, yeah, you see it. You're barking too. This is good. We're all on the same page here.
And I still have that book title written down right here that you told me last time. So.
Yeah, I mean, I did the audiobook. But it's anyway, long story short, now when we go on walks, I have a Ziploc bag full of cooked chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Because the treats have to have are hot, as you said, Will, high value treats.
Yes, sir.
And so when he starts getting really, really excited, I say his name. He looks at me. I hold the treat right in his nose so that he's now fixated on that. And he's getting better.
Oh, good.
But a 200 and change pound, well, he's 180-pound dog when he gets excited, and it's kind of hard to control with another dog on the other end of the leash.
Yeah, we our next challenge. It's funny. I really need to read that book though, because I think it would. It's definitely in line with what I need to do, especially considering these dogs were more pack animals than a human raised dog. If you will.
Dude, and she has a whole chapter on the situation that your dogs came from.
Oh, there you go.
Just talking about like what a just horrible situation, that she's gone and seen these places, in operation of, dog crates stacked on top of dog crates, stacked on top of dog crates. Just break your heart.
Yeah, it's. I don't even want to go into the details, but if you Google Samoyed and Iowa, you'll get the whole story.
Yeah.
And that's Samoyed. Even
awesome.
though I call it Samoyed, but
beautiful dogs. I follow one on Instagram. It does sing all the time.
You follow one on Instagram?
Well, technically, Lurch and Michael Sarah follow them on Instagram. I don't. But
the woman that fostered Rika before we got him, she has a Samoyed as well named Bocce, and it's just so funny because when she posts pictures of him on Facebook, because naturally we're friends now, she always hashtags Bocce doesn't have Instagram, so. Which I don't blame her, because it's like I don't get why your pets would need, because first of all they're not taking the pictures. It's a big lie, okay?
Yeah, it is, and I write it in their voice. I don't know why I do. Will.
Yeah,
I can't tell you.
How do you know their voice?
Makes no sense. Well, Michael Sarah's is more of an Eeyore voice.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, I understand, Trent. Well, we originally were looking for I think my robot just pushed my Spider-Man figure.
I just saw it.
He just pushed my Spider-Man figure off the table, and we're gonna have words, young man. No, we originally we were going to go with, and I hate to say a regular dog, but a regular a non-rescue dog. To become a companion for Rika, just kind of lead by example. But instead, we were, I don't want to say suckers for the same type of, hard luck story, but we met Yuki and just kind of, like, when there's a match. But now she is not quite as far along the progression in some ways, but better in others. Sorry, my back just seized. And
shit.
Hi. And it was just great because now in some ways he is acting as a helper dog for her because she's regressed and doesn't want to go in her crate at night now. And so my wife will say, "Come on, Rika," and he'll come in and he'll go next to the crate and she'll follow along and go in the crate. And it's like, what is going on here? I don't understand, but whatever works. I just love it when my kid is around though, because their tails go up, they're wagging. And it's so nice to see them happy, but I kid you not, man. Within a year, I better be able to pet this damn dog. Okay.
Well, and plus, like you just see a picture of Samoyed, and you're just like, oh, God, you get like cute aggression almost, right? They're just like so cute, you just want to fucking squeeze it.
I just want to hug the dog.
She has a whole section on hugging dogs as well.
There you go. And that's a big trust thing. It's great that Emily and Blair are able to hug them and they're open to it. I'm happy with that. There's almost no aggression in these particular dogs at all. So I don't have to have a certain level of fear, but it's not like I would take that chance. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I would pick them up in an emergency. Maybe that's the closest to a hug.
Well, and could undo a lot of the progress you've made.
Yeah, because then suddenly they feel like they're hostage. They get old thoughts and whatever. Anyway.
Yep.
But if you want to find out more, what's the Instagram for your dogs?
Oh, at Newfie Lurch and at Michael Sarah the dog.
Oh, they each have their own accounts, not just a joint one.
Well, no.
Yeah, because I know my daughter started one for both of them.
Honestly, I think it's more than anything. It's kind of a digital remembrance, like because I started the one for Michael Sarah after Sherman died, and I was like, oh, I wish I had all Sherman's like pictures in one spot.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, I get. Look, I get
why
it.
I did it.
I get it. I understand because it is
so
nice.
At least that's the idea that I just justified in this moment right now.
Whatever works, bro. Whatever works.
Yeah.
But I don't want to keep you any longer. We both got to go. It's already 8 minutes after the hour. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for watching. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for listening to our podcast followers. Don't forget, you can follow Trent on Twitter. He's a part of it. I'm NetHeads. The show is NetHeads on there. If you want to support us, I swear sometime we're going to actually do some cool stuff on there, but we do have a Patreon account if you want to check that out. All of it, netheadsonair.com. It's all right there for you. Go ahead and check it out. And you know what? Let's just wrap it up quick, man. Until next time, my name is Will.
Man, I'm Trent.
And we'll be back.
Soon.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Soon?
Yes.
Soon.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. Signing off. I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it. NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.
All the way to the end of the show, and I get upstaged by a stupid little robot.
Ryan Conley was just saying, I'm so distracted by the robot on Twitter. So yeah, he's and I replied, me too.
In the future, Trent, there will be robots. By the way,
robots.
That's a. I can't believe I just actually made a. What was that horrible game? Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I think was the name of that one.
Yes.
GTA, baby. Thanks for tuning in. We gots to go.